Hello, I'm Dave Karger. Thanks for sticking with me on TCM this afternoon. Our next film is a classic thriller from the master of suspense, Alfred Hitchcock. From 1954, starring Ray Milland and Grace Kelly, it's Dial M for Murder. Milland plays a retired tennis pro who's discovered that his wealthy, beautiful wife, Grace Kelly, has been having an affair behind his back. He's afraid that she'll leave him alone and penniless, so he hatches a deadly plan to make sure that she'll never get that chance. Hitchcock made Dial M for Murder in order to finish out his contract with Warner Brothers. He owed the studio one more picture, and he chose to adapt a play by Frederick Knott that had been a hit on Broadway and in London. To help guarantee that the movie version would also be popular with audiences, Warner Brothers insisted that Hitchcock shoot the film in 3D. At the time, the 3D process was a new fad in Hollywood that studios were using as a gimmick to lure moviegoers away from their television sets and back into the theaters. Hitchcock had no interest in using the gimmick because he felt that all it did was call attention to the fact that the audience was detached from the film rather than really immersed in the experience. He made use of the 3D technique only a few times in the movie, most notably when Grace Kelly's hand reaches out toward the camera in search of a pair of scissors. Otherwise, he focused on making the film feel more like a theatrical play, with the action confined almost entirely to one room. As you can imagine, that made it challenging for Hitchcock to work in his famous cameo appearance, but he came up with a clever solution. See if you can spot him early on in the film. From 1954, also with Robert Cummings, and featuring John Williams and Anthony Dawson in the roles that they originated on stage, Dial M for Murder. Dial M for Murder reunited Robert Cummings with Alfred Hitchcock for their second film together after making the spy thriller Saboteur, which was released 12 years earlier in 1942. But this was the first time Hitchcock ever worked with his favorite leading lady, Grace Kelly. The collaboration turned out to be mutually enjoyable for both Hitchcock and Kelly. They trusted each other's judgment, and Hitchcock even changed his mind about certain details in the film when Kelly offered her own ideas. For instance, he suggested that she put on a robe before coming out of the bedroom to answer the fatal phone call, but she argued that she wouldn't take the time to find a robe if the phone was ringing. He agreed, and the robe was cut. While they were working on Dial M for Murder, Hitchcock was also busy planning his next film, Rear Window, and he talked to Kelly about it constantly, collaborating with her on the project even before she was set to star in it. They went on to make 3 films together in total, ending with To Catch a Thief, released in 1955. That's it for me this afternoon, but don't go away because Ben Mankiewicz will be here with our primetime lineup, and as usual, the films will be uncut and commercial-free.
Next on TCM, Get Carter, then Death Trap, and later, Bad Blonde. It's a die job to die for on Noir Alley tonight.